Popcorn, Piss, and Vinegar, giving you a raw take on movies, television, and pop culture. My name's Chris.
Scott.
JB4.
And he's back again, Gary Rucker.
Like
back
a
here
penny.
for the 4,000th time. Yeah, so that's it. He's the Alec Baldwin 2-hour Saturday
He
Night
is.
Live.
We need to get him a PPV bathrobe.
Alec Baldwin is
I'm gonna
the
get my own
Gary
smoking
Rucker
jacket.
to SNL.
Thank you,
You're
Sandy.
welcome.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, so there it is. Hey, we're going to talk about The Boys, which is launched only a few days ago. It was on the 26th, so we're pretty fresh on this one. It's only been out in the world for about 4 days, but
Did you finish?
oh yeah, even though it's going to be out for only 4 days, we're going to spoil the shit out of it. So if you don't want to be spoiled by The Boys, make sure to turn this off. We'll go ahead and kick this thing off. The Boys started out as a comic book series that was originally picked up by Wildstorm Studios. Wildstorm was originally a owner imprint under the Image comic book company. It was owned by Jim Lee, who is famously known for his run on X-Men. He also did a very impressive 12-part Batman series for DC, which is probably one of the fucking greatest Batman comic books ever.
Really?
Yeah, really, really cool.
Hush.
Yeah, each one of the issues has a different Batman villain, and it tells like an overarching story with all the villains. Really, really intense, cool story. So that's what Jim Lee is famous for. But he sold his Wildstorm Studios to DC Comics, and they started kind of pushing their own comics until they dissolved the company. Unfortunately, part of the dissolution of the company is losing out on The Boys. It only had 6 issues when the company was done, so it was canceled after issue 6, but it was picked up by Dynamite Comics, completing its run at 72 issues. Big pedigree here for The Boys. It was created by Derek Robertson and also Garth Ennis, who is very well known for Preacher and also for his incredible run on The Punisher for Marvel Comics. Garth said when he wrote this comic, he was actually going to out-Preacher the Preacher with this series. So that was his famous.
order.
That's a tall
Yeah.
order. The Preacher is a beloved series. Some people, like John, thinks that the television version of it failed. To capture.
It started out great.
It started
It just,
huge. Yeah.
I mean, I don't blame it for failing. It was such a tall order anyway, but it was incredibly disappointing because their first season was so well done. And
Let's
and
just say it
close
was
to
on the wrong network.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that could be.
I was concerned about The Boys when it's the same creative team.
Yeah, and that's
Correct.
Seth Rogen and his who's the other writing partner? I can't
remember his name.
Yeah, I can't
but,
remember his name on that. Yeah, very very informative on the show. But
Yeah.
but yeah,
You got homework.
yeah. No, the engineer's going to look that up
Yeah.
real quick.
Yeah.
So
Is
that's
it
it.
not like Adam Goldberg? or
Evan
something like-
Goldberg?
Evan Goldberg.
Evan
Yeah.
Goldberg. That's
Yep,
it.
That's it.
That's it. Hey, good job, Sandy. That'll work, man.
Didn't even have to look that up.
He's ignoring it.
Yeah, no. And this is going to be like one of our first episodes where we're not going to fight because I think everybody pretty much loved this show.
We'll
but,
find
hell
something.
yeah.
To
But yeah,
fight about.
we'll find something to fight about, especially you and Scott, which is entertaining. I could do an hour show on that alone. But anyway, I mean that's pretty much the history of The Boys. I never read the comic book, but after this series, I'm actually kind of really pushed to like get in the collections.
I just
and
ordered
really,
the omnibus from Amazon.
Is it every issue in the omnibus?
There's two omnibuses.
Oh, great, excellent.
So,
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't received it yet.
They said that much like Walking Dead, it diverts from the comics, but a lot of the situations in it, they say, stay very true to the comic books. The only thing that we see that's kind of dramatically different are the two things that I noticed in the little synopsis that I read is, first of all, is that The Boys is a clandestine CIA operative unit, where in this show they act independently.
Yeah, they're kind of like a rogue.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of like a rogue team, so to speak, and they kind of work on the fringe of everybody, getting a little bit of governmental support, but having their hands slapped away at the same time. That's one of the differences. The other difference also is that there's a character that's part of the Seven, which is the superhero team. There's a character that's named Translucent that's in the show.
Yeah.
Translucent was made up specifically for the show. He replaces a character that's called Jack from Jupiter. Jack from Jupiter is a direct ripoff and homage to Martian Manhunter. So they say a lot of the comic book characters that and ones that we haven't seen yet are heavy homage to pre-existing comic book characters naturally. In particular, one group of superhero characters are called the G-Men. It's a direct rip from the X-Men. And and there's another character that's called Tech Knight that is a direct homage to Batman. But we haven't seen those characters yet in the series. You never know. We may never see them.
Right.
So it all depends on what direction they go. Basically, the overview of the show is that it's
corporate-run superheroes.
The way I have been describing it to people is that imagine if the MCU, the characters in the MCU movies, were really real. I mean, that's imagine Iron Man and all those characters were real characters, and Disney was actually using them to to push leverage on the United States and world governments, and that's essentially what this show is. I know that a lot of people are going to be very quick to jump to compare it to Watchmen. I mean, it's impossible not to draw that comparison, but what I like about this show is that it really does its own thing.
Yep.
I can't say that Watchmen is really any better than this show. They're both good shows. They're both good. I mean, even I can't compare the material, but the movies. The Watchmen movie, if you look at that as a movie and you look at this compared against it as a television show, they tell very good deconstruction myths of superheroes. And
But
they
yeah,
both do their own thing.
This is like nothing I've ever seen. I mean,
Yeah.
it's completely new and original, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, an example is like, and we don't really get this in the Watchmen, but like when they have that support group in the middle, it's people who have been saved or hurt by collateral damage of a superhero. Like, oh, this superhero saved me from a burning building, but broke my ribs.
Yeah.
In the process, like we never get that story, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and I think
And it almost goes back. I'm sorry. It almost goes back to like everybody hated that Superman movie that Zack Snyder did because of all the destruction. This is it. This show is the fallout
everybody
of that
hated the
destruction.
Zack Snyder movie because it fucking sucked.
Well-
I mean, that's the reason
Yeah.
people hated that movie is because it didn't do a good job of effective storytelling. It had beautiful imagery, but it didn't tell a good story. I mean,
But I see your point.
no, I see
That's
your
the
point.
point.
No, I mean, I see what you're saying. I mean, the thing with it is that with the superhero deal is we're learning stories about normal people that are in a superhero world, and
Correct.
that we have never seen.
It's almost like that insurance office type thing that came on. I don't know, NBC or whatever.
It was
that flopped.
Damage Control, or
Something
Damage
like that, I don't
Incorporated.
know.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah,
was
they were
the
in
Warner
charge of, like,
Brothers one.
cleaning up
Yeah.
after superheroes.
Yeah, that was a comic series in fact, Damage Control, which was the Marvel version, is actually featured in the first Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
They're in there cleaning up the site that Michael Keaton's character
Yeah, they
is
shut him
working on.
down.
Yeah, they shut him down,
right.
and it's Damage Control. So
Well, I did find one other series that reminded me of is I found Black Noir to be something right out of The Tick.
Yeah. I text Scott. I was like, that's the greatest name of
Oh,
any
God,
superhero.
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I guess the thing with it is
It pokes fun at itself while taking itself very seriously.
well, I
It's
think
really-
that's the
Yeah.
thing. I think in the context of things, and that's what kind of threw me off with the names of the characters. I understand why the characters are named the way they are, but with Watchmen, where it's another deconstruction story, I mean, they take those characters super seriously.
Right.
And they have names that are very reminiscent of original superheroes. I know another probably big reason why they can't come up with good names for these characters because a lot of the good shit's already taken.
I thought the names were
So-
great.
I thought they were too.
And they
Homelander?
seem, they
I mean,
seem
that's-
very
Yeah,
like
that-
corporate approved.
Well,
Correct.
but
Yeah.
that's what I'm
Which is
saying.
what I liked about it,
In
yeah.
the context of the story, I guess it fits, but that's the only part of it the only name that I like out of all of the superheroes, and I guess it's done like that intentionally, is Starlight. I think that's the only name.
Yeah, but I feel like she picked hers. Whereas
Well,
the other ones were like assigned these names.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's exactly it. I mean, but the things that are really funny, and especially being a DC Comics fan, I love the fact of how they poke fun at shit, especially the Aquaman shit.
Oh,
Is
God,
just
it's
so.
God, yeah.
I
so
was thinking
fucking
about
ridiculous.
that today. We all made fun of the Aquaman movie that came out because it was so bro. Hey, bro. It was so bro-ish.
Yeah.
And this Aquaman type character is very bro-ish.
Very bro-ish. But the other thing too is I would like the whole stigma about how Aquaman's the most useless superhero.
Right.
And this guy like found a way to make himself completely useless. Every time he tried to do something heroic, it would completely backfire and fail, which I was like, yeah, he's pretty useless, but it's kind of his own doing, you know.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
karma,
I think it's really neat. And one thing I do like about that character, though, that I think is cool, is the fact when he reveals himself with the gills and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's the fucking cool end of stuff. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He's like kind of got like this little cool kind of element to him. Is he still useless? Fucking right, he's
But
still
all
useless.
he did was clean up the beach.
But at
Yeah.
least
For a
that's
little
but at
while.
least that's cool. At least that's neat. Oh, dude, when that dolphin flies out the
Oh.
window.
Well, when he's talking to the lobster at the grocery, I thought that was the funniest thing.
So ridiculous.
Well, I mean, what's really surreal about the show is that I just thought it was going to be a wonderful nihilist comedy. You know, the first episode, I was like, okay, I'm locked in. And then over the course of 8 episodes, it manages to work in quite a bit of dramatic heft and, like, curveballs that I didn't see coming.
Yeah, I mean, the first episode when it pans to the deep with his pants down, it was just like, oh, okay,
Right.
We're
Here we
doing
go.
this, yeah.
But I mean, the plane scene was not hilarious. You
Yeah.
know, it was
It's
upsetting.
heartbreaking, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, a lot of these. I think what's really cool about the heroes or the superhero characters is that there's a lot of cool dimension to these characters.
Right.
I mean, a lot of them are fucking narcissistic fucking assholes. I mean, especially Homelander. I mean, he's ridiculously fucking crazy, you know. But
Yeah.
some of these other characters, it's like they're in their own bullshit. And this is one of the bad things I'll say about this series, opposed to series that you see on other networks such as Netflix and Hulu stuff. The acting is really, really shaky in a lot of parts of this. I think some of the
I didn't have a
acting,
problem.
the guy who plays A-Train is fucking abysmal.
His voice is too high,
He's just not good.
but it wasn't high enough to like. All right, is he supposed to be like Kid Flash or like? It was just kind of in a weird place.
Some of the actors are really good. I mean, Carl Urban, he's great. I mean,
he's fantastic.
Frenchie is great. I
Yeah.
mean, I think a lot of
I like
the
Huey.
yeah, I think some of the actors are good, but I think that there's a lot of stuff where some of those actors are really fucking weak. And I mean, going from the show, like Scott always says, you know, I mean, it's like the streaming series have this kind of mystique to them, this next level shit. I think that they should have got maybe a couple of better actors to fill some of those roles.
Yeah.
That's really the only bad thing I have to say. But as far as like story content, it's good. It's really good. It's very well done.
I was worried because I didn't want to get burned again like Umbrella Academy, which I didn't mind. It was just kind of it wasn't everything I hoped it would be. And so when I saw previews for this, I was really excited about it. And it wasn't until Sandy V over there was like, you gotta watch this show. It's so good. That's
I
when I
was
put
like,
it on.
I think I was 5 in on Saturday, and I was
No,
like,
you were
Gary,
like 3 in, and I'm like, all right, and I like finished it. I'm like, hurry up and finish it so we can talk about it. Like,
and he totally
Yeah,
he
Yeah.
blasted me.
it was like, oh, there's everything I wanted like in a superhero show. It's so good.
I think I watched it the first night it came out, and I was like, I'm fucking involved. And then I watched it again with my girlfriend.
yeah.
She enjoyed
So you've
it.
watched it twice already.
Yeah.
I was watching
last 4
something last
episodes.
night, and the like the trailer for it came on, and I got all excited about it. I'm like, I've already seen this, but like I'm excited about the trailer. It's crazy.
The end, I want to make sure we talk about the end a little bit, because
yeah.
that made Homelander a much more interesting character to me all of a sudden. He went from being this sort of like narcissist to, a narcissist with at least a somewhat sympathetic, because he didn't know until the very end that
He had a kid.
Spoiler, alert,
Yeah.
he has a kid, and
Well,
this is his
But I was like,
alive.
why is he doing this? Like, I text him. I'm like, get like the ending pissed me off only in that I don't mind loose ends, but I feel like some of the ends just kind of went away to the point where I'm like, oh wait, it's done. Like
what?
Him leaving the building and Starlight dealing with A-Train. Like usually at a series finale, they kind of like wrap it up with more of a button, and it felt like
Right.
we were gonna have another scene of that, and then we just never got it. So I was like, we just didn't go back.
Everybody, nobody got a proper ending. The Deep
Yeah, and it
was
didn't.
crazy. In the
shaving
mirror.
his head,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, like this will resolve so that if there's no second season, at least this finished. But if there is a second season, it's still open ended, and some of it just like stopped. That was the only complaint I had. Was like,
I think they
it
knew
just
they were
seemed
getting
abrupt.
a second season, and they may have signed on
Yeah.
for a
But that
2
was
or
like
3
that
season
last bit with him and there's his wife. It's
That
like, holy
completely
shit.
changes Carl Urban's character's motivations. Like, the rug is completely out from under him, and if he continues on this, it is out of fucking spite.
They
Like,
said
Yeah.
that's a big difference also with the. They say that's a big difference between this and the comics. In the comics, Homelander killed his wife in the comics.
Gotcha.
In this,
Yeah.
he raped her.
Right.
In this,
We don't know.
well, I don't even know
I don't
that.
know
I don't
that
even know
that's
at this
true.
point. Yeah.
Because she comes out, and did they really just have sex for
Right.
3 hours?
she went along with it, you know.
It was
I mean,
kind of vague. It seems
it
she was a
was
little
really
distraught,
vague.
but you know,
I don't know.
it's hard to
I guess
say.
we'll find out in season 2. You know.
Yeah, I mean, and it's really a lot of seeds, so to speak. You know that I mean, the only thing that we have that's left that we don't know if A-Train is still alive.
Right.
We don't know
Right.
if the baby survived.
Yeah, we don't know if the baby survived. I mean,
Scott was really worried about that baby.
how
wasn't
yeah,
really worried.
fuck it, I'd be worried too,
Yeah.
dude. They picked up that baby and that baby laser beamed the shit out of everything. I thought that was fucking
Yeah.
awesome, dude. I
Yeah,
mean,
that was hilarious.
what was his line that he said after he picked up the baby, and like after he blasted everybody, he said, "That's vicious" or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I think that's a great thing about Billy Butcher is that, like, you know, the dude just like doesn't give a fuck.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Right.
really, you know,
Yeah.
when he walks in the little ball decoration reminds me of my grandfather's bullock swinging in the wind. It's
I hope that
fucking great.
in season 2, the Deep, like, now that he has had his breakdown, maybe like he's the big threat, like he's just gone off the deep end, so to speak.
Ah.
Yeah, that's what I think they're setting up for. Like,
Well, I mean,
he's lost his mind, so now it's like, what is he gonna? If he's tired of being kicked around, what is he capable of? I
Well,
think
in an earlier episode on of PPV, Chris had shared that at some point it was discussed that Aquaman maybe would be able to control water, and since human beings are 98% water, that would by default almost make him the most powerful hero in the DC universe all of a sudden. And then they were like, "That's insane. We're not going there. That's just, we don't even know what to do with that."
Right.
I would love to see the show go there.
Yeah.
After all the shit he's been through, and
Well, I mean, and yeah, let's
because of his own fault.
well, since
by the
we're
way.
on this subject, we've talked about Homelander, which is Homelander is an obvious homage to Superman and
Yeah.
Captain America. So we have that, more Superman than Captain America, but they've definitely
Yeah.
emerged between the two. Queen Maeve, which is a ripoff of, or an homage rather, to Wonder Woman.
Totally.
What do you think happens with her? She kind of seems like she's the only character that has some type of remorse and is conflicted about her past actions or things that she's witnessed.
I'm trying to remember what her last beat was.
Her last beat was that she walked up to Starlight and told her, "Look, you just be a goody two shoes, pain in the ass, be unique." You
Oh,
know,
right, yeah.
I used to be the
I'll
one.
be- yeah.
I used to be the one that was hot, and you could bounce a quarter off of my ass, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and all this shit. But you go and be you, and
Right.
be a pain in the fucking ass.
Right.
I don't know what happens in the books, so I
Yeah, I don't know either. And I mean, yeah, I'll read them at some point, especially if they have omnibuses. Yeah,
Yeah, there's
I'll
two of
probably
them.
I'll probably pick them up. But
I want to read them now.
but
Garth Ennis.
yes, I
so
mean
good.
we have that with Queen Maeve. Fuck who and we've
A-Train.
talked about the Deep.
A-Train.
A-Train's the Flash.
Yeah, A-Train. He's the ripoff of the Flash and
Lamplighter. I want to know more about Lamplighter.
Yeah.
yeah.
Apparently, he burned some kids alive. Like that's the
He
one thing we
burned,
know
what's
about
her
him.
name? The old lady who was like the leader.
Right.
Oh, right.
And according to the comics, is that she's approached in the very first issue to join the team, and that scene where she tells Butcher, "No, I'm not going to go back."
Right.
That's from the very beginning. That's established.
Okay.
So that's like they said, the events of the comic books. It's very true to what it's like. It's like Walking Dead. The situations,
It's all there. They're just
all
in
the shit
pieces,
that's
yeah.
in the comics happen in the show. They might happen to different people and they might happen in a different order,
Right.
but they do happen. So that accuracy is at least there. They said one scene that Amazon made them cut. That they said they absolutely wouldn't allow them to do. Is there's a scene where Homelander flies to the top of the Empire State Building, drops his pants, and jerks off the side of the building. as is basically saying I can do whatever the fuck I want to do.
Well, and blows his load all over the city of New York.
Right.
I think they could have shown him dropping his pants and kept that scene in and just trimmed a little bit out because we see the
So-
Deep do that in the first episode. But
Right.
that's such a great.
if you
moment.
haven't seen the show and you hear Chris say that scene, of course everybody's going to be like, of course Amazon would let that. There's no way they would put that on TV until you watch the series and realize
that's not the worst thing.
it's not so. The Homelander, who's the Superman character, has laser beam eyes like Superman, and if you haven't seen it, he can shoot lasers at people. Like, that's his heat ray vision. And when he does it, he either liquefies the person or cuts them in half in a bloody mess. And that's how this show is.
Right.
The show goes 20 times.
I'll tell you, one of my favorite shots of the whole thing is when you see Homelander flying next to the plane. You just kind of see his reflection in the plane, and then all of a sudden you see his eyes start glowing. But it's the point of, like, you're watching the reaction of the people in the plane who think he's coming to help them.
Right.
Or whatever. But, like, all of a sudden you see his eyes light up and you're like, oh, shit. I thought it was such a great moment.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that was early on. So
Yeah, it's a great show. I mean, the Black Noir character. I mean, I know
it's the best.
I know
man.
y'all have
Yeah.
like sucked this character's dick, but he's hardly in it.
He's hardly in it.
No,
I
but when he's
mean,
there, it's like a threat. Like he's a
I mean,
legitimate
no.
threat.
Is he? I
Yeah, he's a
mean,
base. He can fight. I mean,
They all can
Yeah,
fight.
The
I
best
mean,
scene is him at the piano, though.
That's the
Yeah.
right. I mean, that's the.
So
I mean,
weird.
That was great.
No, he seems like the Batman character to me, even though I know he's not. But like,
you know, he reminds me of more than Batman is Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
more reminded of that
Right.
than I was Batman.
to me, it's like I don't know that he actually has superpowers. He's just very trained and very good at what he does, which kind of makes
Right.
him more down to earth. But he actually almost accomplished some shit. Like
right.
he's the one that didn't have any kind of side weirdness, except that he is a really good piano player.
Yeah,
But I
right.
thought they used him effectively. Like he'd just sit down and stare, and then somebody would react, and then he'd,
So-
those
so
pictures-
Did they kill the Martian Manhunter character in
Yes. Yes.
same kind of way?
Right.
Okay.
Similar situation.
Okay.
So we
Follow-up,
talked.
yes.
So we talked about the seven characters being Queen Maeve, Homelander, A-Train, Noir, the Deep, Translucent, and Starlight.
Starlight.
So that's quote unquote the seven. Just the thing with it is like out of all those characters, who is y'all's favorite out of the seven?
How do you pick?
Yeah, it's hard to.
I think the Deep or Black Noir or
Yeah,
Translucent. He was great
I
too.
don't know.
Like,
And it's
I-
it's Black Noir, not it's Black Noir, not Starlight. She comes in later. So
I think. I
No, it
might
was-
say
it was,
Homelander just because
Lamplighter,
that is such a fine line to walk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, as a performer, and he's perfectly
Yeah.
cast.
He's
that
having the
fucking
best
dude.
time. you can tell.
Homelander I think is the best. I mean, really honestly, I love the Superman character, and I also love this twist on the Superman
Yeah.
character. Also,
How have we not talked about Elizabeth Shue though?
I'm getting to that.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah.
there's a thing with Homelander, which is really fucking crazy. Is man, dude, I don't know if you all thought it, but when I sat there and looked at him, like, this motherfucker looks like Mark Paul Gosselaar from Saved by the Bell. I'm like, this dude's like evil Zach Morris. He almost
Wait,
looks
who?
Bad. Yeah.
yeah,
Evil
well,
Zach Morris.
yeah,
Oh,
Saved by the
Homelander?
Bell,
Yeah.
the teenage show. Yeah, that's right. You're like I'm old, but you're way older than me. So
Yeah, exactly.
Homelander has weird
Dinosaur.
lips.
well, I'm sorry. What's that say again?
He has weird lips.
He has weird lips.
Like they kind of disappear in the middle, but you see them on the edges, and I couldn't stop staring at that.
I didn't.
Perfect
it was-
comic face.
I didn't really
Yeah,
pay
it was
attention.
it
to
was
that.
weird the way.
Mark Paul Gosselaar played Saved by the Bell. He played Zach Morris, which was the main character, and also he did a stint later on NYPD Blue.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like his big thing. I've never seen that reference go over anybody's head, but JB4 has now proved me wrong. So there it is.
No, but I mean, he actually looks more to me like.
Talking to the mic.
Sorry, he looks more to me like. And I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. Cooper, the guy that.
Anderson.
Not Anderson.
Bradley.
Bradley. Yes. Bradley.
Oh, Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I could see a little bit of that.
That's who he reminded me of quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, but it worked for me. He was great.
Yeah.
I thought.
Elizabeth Shue.
Yeah, we'll talk about the human characters now, and
Yeah.
going over to the Voight Corporation, which is the company that actually controls these superheroes. I mean, there's a lot of bit players that play in that, but Elizabeth Shue is the main character, and she's kind of like the corporate raider, killer instinct CEO executive that is trying to hold all this shit together.
And apparently in the comics, it's a guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got you. So we got a gender swap on that.
Her and somebody else. I forget the other one, but like
I don't give a shit. The character was great.
no,
So-
I'm just saying, I like it better as a woman. I thought she was
and it plays in better with the whole thing with Homelander never had a mommy, and it's so fucking weird. That's just so bizarre.
Yeah.
But I mean, but that's
beauty of
cool.
it.
But that's the beauty of it. That's what makes that whole thing fucking awesome. But yeah, I mean, I thought that she was great. And it's funny because I walked in this show cold. Like the only person that I knew starting this show is Carl Urban.
Me too.
And I love that dude and
Yeah.
everything.
he's amazing. Yeah.
But I sat there and I looked at it and I'm like, is that fucking Elizabeth Shue? And you have those cool features now where you can pause it and it shows you the
X-ray.
actors
The
that are in the
cast, yeah.
scene. And when I saw it, I was like, fucking hey, that's it. It's Allie from the Karate Kid.
Good
It's pretty
for her.
fucking cool.
Yeah.
So
Giancarlo Esposito, who plays Stan Edgar, like her boss.
yeah, he's got one. He's referred to
Oh, yeah.
all throughout the series, but he finally shows up in the last episode.
I know you have no frame of reference, but he was in Breaking Bad, and he
Oh, yeah.
was one of the
Oh.
main villains in Breaking Bad. So
So this show actually gets rub off from the greatest television show in the history
It
of
does.
television.
I mean,
so.
if two shows are good, keep
That's
them
it.
together. All right, this is gonna be a weird question, but did any of you think more was gonna come out of the whole breast milk thing? Because they made such a huge deal about her pumping breast milk. I was like, and then
It was
and then
weird.
Homelander was so like, and I was like, is this for him? Like, is this?
I'm glad it didn't.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it
yeah.
seemed
Oh,
like
yeah.
a setup that was
I
going to
didn't-
pay off for Homelander in a really weird
Well, yeah,
way
I think
later.
it was a setup, and I think that
You're leaking.
his
Thank you.
character. His character does. I mean, you're talking like a complete like arc of growth in this one season.
Yeah.
He's this guy who obviously has mommy issues, and he
Right.
has all these problems. And the thing with it is that he's kind of like goes from being this scared little boy that doesn't have his own voice, which everybody tells him to do, to where he ends up becoming
The voice.
the man, basically coming there and say, yeah, look, this is the way I understand now. I understand what I have to do, and if you get in the way of what I have to do, I'm going to burn your fucking head off.
She had
literally.
she had a really great moment of realizing she couldn't control him anymore,
Yeah.
which I was
When
like, that
he
was
said he
kind of
created
beautiful.
the terrorist. That was my moment.
I don't remember
okay.
if that was it or before, but there was a moment where like he definitely like kind of gave her the cold shoulder, and like it's almost like she reached for him and he pulled away. And I was like, her reaction, because it stayed on her, and her reaction to that was like that oh shit moment of like,
To me, it
I
was
can't
in the
control,
house when it was in the house when she was tied up, when Butcher put the bomb on her and she was tied up at the end of the house. And-
when I rewatch it, I'll let you know the exact moment.
Yeah, 'cause when
there's like the first time she's like, oh shit, he's not like all about me anymore.
Well, I got that moment when she says, "Bring the baby upstairs," and after she tells him it a third time, he looks back at her and like screams at her, "Will you shut the fuck up?"
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
after that, I was like,
yeah.
"Yeah, she's."
But
she's
even at the
done.
party, she like touches his arm and he like moves away and like blah blah blah. When
Well, that's
before all he wanted was her affection, but it happens before the party.
Oh.
It's this really specific
Oh,
moment. of her,
I know,
like,
I know
oh,
the
God.
scene. I know
Yeah.
the scene you're talking about. I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Now, I tell you who really shat on himself was when he told her to shut the fuck up was Billy Butcher, because he probably realized,
Right.
Right.
yeah, that's it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
This
I've got
dude's
no
like
leverage.
it's like the Joker. You
Well,
have
he says
nothing to hurt me with.
He told him that when he kills her, he's like, "What's your plan now?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Fuck it," and then he
Yeah.
blows himself
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, and I thought it was great that he laughs at him. Yeah,
Right.
the Homelander laughs at Butcher and basically tells him, "Wait a minute, you mean to tell me that you came here to stage all this shit on a hunch?
Right.
Aren't you a fucking moron?" That
I
was
mean,
just great.
What's fascinating about that whole scene, once you know everything, is that he says you're doing this on emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's equipped with a lot of facts, and he's like, oh, you like, because his position's probably like, God, like you got dumped, and you've done all this, like you killed one of the 7, like your whole life for the past 7 years has been in service of a complete fucking mirage.
Yeah.
And he's just like, you are the only person that I've been able to observe an elevated heart rate out of pure rage. You're not scared.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's
it's a
intrigued by
fantastic
him is
scene.
Yeah.
Really,
so
really good.
And the
fascinating
writing's
to me.
so good in those scenes.
And
Yeah.
and we jump back on Homelander because he's such a great character. But jumping back to some of the so let's talk about the boys. We have Huey that's played by Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid's son Jack Quaid.
Yeah.
Good little actor. Holds the scenes together really good. And his father is played by Simon Pegg, which as soon as I saw that, I was like, that's pretty fucking
Well,
hilarious.
do you know why?
Wow.
I'll give it to
Because back when the comics first came out, there was talks to do a movie, and Simon Pegg was supposed to play Huey in the movie.
No
And
shit.
it never got made, so they let Simon, now that he's too old, they let him play Huey's dad.
Which
That's
is
really
really
cool.
great when we finally get a Simon Pegg and Carl Urban scene together.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
that is
it's
true.
true.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we got Scotty and Bones,
Right,
you know,
right.
all in one scene. Even though out of 3 movies, they were in one really bad one. So we got
here we go.
So we have that. But
Jack Quaid.
actually, out of all of the boys, the character that surprised me and I ended up liking the best was Frenchie.
Yeah, he was great.
Because when I first saw that character in like the first episode, I'm like, oh, here we go. Here's our generic, you know, Euro trash gun dealer.
Right.
That's going to basically be a throwaway piece of crap.
But with a heart of gold.
But
Like,
dude,
who
it's,
knew? Yeah.
but what's awesome is, man, is that they capture the female, you know, which is this is where we start. They start planting the seeds of the company's plot to superpower terrorism. You know, to where they can kind of insert themselves into
Which wasn't
into
the
the
company.
military war machine. Right, it wasn't. But they start planting those seeds, you know, to before they give you all the big swerves. And what's great is that this Frenchie character is the only one that's really connecting with the female, who is like I guess is part of like a Japanese guerrilla unit.
Right.
But like he cooks her a steak, and he like talks about the perfection of his cooking, and
Right.
then there's a lot of beef between him and Mother's Milk, who, you know, there's a lot of beef between those two characters.
Another
and-
great name.
And he was such a great character in the fact that they were in this huge, you know, mission. The danger is about to happen, and he's on the phone with his wife. All right, I'll be cooking for you. I'll be home after work. You know, like he leaves this danger and goes home.
Well, I think they did a good job of showing everyone's like also real life. Like,
Right.
yeah, all this shit's crazy, but they're also real people with like,
I mean, the character,
day-to-day
all the
problems.
characters in it are excellent. I think all of the content, the characters, everything in it is really, really well done. It's constructed nicely. Everything's cool. Like I say, my biggest gripe is that I think some of the shit's weak in the acting department. But that's just me. Hey, look, Gary, you know way more about that shit than I do.
No, the
If
guy
you-
who played A-Train bugged me, but everyone else, I was like, yeah, fine.
yeah, I mean,
wasn't even
fine.
bothered by
Yeah.
A-Train. I thought he
Yeah,
did a
I thought
solid job.
I thought he was kind of goofy. I'm like, it's like I couldn't take the character really.
I'll tell you
Like,
what it
too
was.
seriously.
To me, it was just his voice. It's like everyone else was like in the same world with like their diction and their. It's hard to explain without going into a whole thing, but he just seemed like, I don't like actors who it feels like they're just talking. Like that's just their street voice, and it doesn't quite fit film. Like you need to heighten it a little bit for film. And he just
Okay.
seemed like almost too natural, considering his surroundings and how everyone else was. He just didn't seem like he was
Yeah,
in the,
like I
the
think
same
like,
world of
like
those people.
Anthony Mackie in that role would have been fucking ridiculous.
Well, that was
because
the whole
like,
point
he's
of
he's
that.
got
I
a
like
got
how
a
he's-
swagger, you know.
No,
I mean,
but I like how they wanted to make him like the kid of the group, but he
Right.
wasn't quite the kid of the group enough. He was like kind of weirdly in the middle of Anthony Mackie or like someone much younger who's like the irresponsible kid who got powers too young and doesn't know what to do with them. So he's making all these bad choices.
like another actor I could think of that would have fit that A-Train role really good. That other A-Train character, that character actor that would have fit in that role well would have been like Cuba Gooding Jr. when he was in Jerry Maguire. That kind of like football swagger jock
Yeah.
asshole.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I'm sorry, Scott.
No,
Go
I was
ahead.
just gonna say, how about Tara Reid and fucking Billy Zane and Haley Joel
Oh,
Osment?
yeah.
Oh, Haley
Like-
Joel Osment was
How about that
Yeah.
guy? Like,
Yeah.
Wow.
all
Forgot
these
about
people in that little Comic-Con
Yeah.
situation, like, oh, it's fucking Billy Zane. Wait, is that Tara Reid?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
But Haley Joel,
Yeah.
he was great. What
Oh,
was
yeah,
his
he
character's
was.
He
name? The-
was.
The Methodist or
No, the
Mesmer.
Mesmer.
Mesmerizer.
There you go.
No,
Whatever.
Mesmer. It was
yeah.
just Mesmer was short, but
Okay.
but that was fucking cool about.
he still
Mesmer.
got it, man. Like,
But I think that he was great. I
I
mean,
love how he's embraced this like older, doughy, like sad sack.
yeah, he's
dude,
older,
you know?
doughy, and
Yeah.
all that
Yeah.
stuff. And dude, he like acted getting his fucking ass whipped really well. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
when old girl broke his wrist and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
great. Oh, another scene that I think is funny, talking about the violent scenes when Huey figures out that he can give his retainer to Frenchie to break out of the jail cell. Mother's Milk's like, look, I'm going to take it out. Now, this is going to sting. It's going to sting for a minute. He just punches the fuck out
Yeah.
of him.
And out it comes.
You all right, bro?
I need to watch it again because all these scenes are like, oh right, that scene. Like I
Yeah.
gotta remind
Yeah,
myself.
man. But it's like I said, man. If I was giving it 4 out of 5 stars, I'll give it like I'll give it like right almost 5, and I'll just A-Train shitty acting. Other than that, I mean, I liked everything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
I'd give it 5 stars just for sheer entertainment.
I would
mean,
too.
Yeah.
It was such a breath of fresh air for me that I loved it.
Sandy brought up how good the CGI was.
Oh yeah,
Andy.
you
You should
sit
feel
there.
ashamed of yourself.
It's still in my phone.
Y'all finally get along, and now you gotta bring up old shit.
That doesn't make him less Sandy.
The CGI in this was
Oh, wait a
very
minute. Bring
well
up old
done.
shit. Who just threw out a Star Trek
Right.
reference?
What are you talking about?
All right,
That's
yeah,
as old as the IP Man fucking
all right.
reference.
I'm sorry, Scott. Well,
it's
Sandy,
not
one
that
more
old.
time.
Anyway, it's not as old as you, but
True.
again, another old reference. The CGI, I think the CGI on such a show, like they really took their dick out and said, "Look, Netflix, look Hulu, look what we can do.
They gave
We're
a shit,
Amazon. All those people who get free shipping, that's what we're using to fucking fund this film with. It was really, really well done.
Yeah, there wasn't
was.
anything that really pulled me out of it. I was like, look at that.
No.
Yeah.
No.
If Lord of the Rings is made as well.
We'll see. That'll be $8 billion.
Yeah, I mean it lives or dies on that. Well, I mean it's Amazon. They could probably come back from it,
They'll
but
be fine. Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're saying that that's going to be another kind of like prequel series, and I don't know, man. I'm like over the whole fucking prequel.
This is my thing. It's like
really,
even with this show, had Scott not said like you need to start watching this show, I just feel like I don't have the time or the patience to like
Sure.
start something.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I've been through Walking Dead, been through Game of Thrones, been through Breaking Bad. All those I'm kind of drained as far as like getting
Yeah.
into a new thing goes.
Well, and Marvel feels like the same thing to me. It's just more pop culture time you have to mark on your calendar, and it's like
it's like daunting now.
oh,
Yeah, it is.
Look, Marvel, and I'm actually showing the where I still have not seen Spider-Man, the second
Wow.
Spider-Man movie. Still
Really?
haven't seen it. Now,
It's
in-
really
you,
good.
You have a good excuse.
I have a
yeah.
good excuse.
Very good excuse.
I have a good excuse, but the thing with it is, though, is that normally, like, I mean, even I'd sit there and I'm like, dude, Spider-Man's out. Fuck it. Even though I'm at work, fuck it. I'm going to play hooky for a few hours and go to the fucking movie, like early show to where I know nobody's really going to fuck with me. And all that bullshit. But, dude, I mean, I just haven't had the time. And honestly,
This show's going to take a hard turn into like My Little Pony territory.
probably-
This week on My Little Pony.
yeah, but
Let's
dude,
talk about it.
I probably won't. I probably won't even like see it until it comes out for stream because I know
Yeah.
it's going to be on the Disney thing.
Right.
So I mean, I already know. Unfortunately, it got fucking spoiled. But I mean, dude, I can't get pissed off about that. I mean, the movie's been out for over a month.
Yeah.
I know about the Maria
There-
Hill spoiler.
There was
so-
all kind of spoiler shit like the
Oh.
next day online, and I'm like, are you fucking
There's
kidding
more.
me? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But
There's way more.
yeah, no, it's just that it's not even superhero fatigue. It's just fatigue in general.
Yes.
I don't want to do or watch anything. I just want to sit there.
We're always talking about what's going to be the first network to drop. Oh, we're going to drop Netflix, or is it going to be Hulu, or is it going to be Amazon? As far as like, if there's anything good on, well, I don't know if there's anything good on. There might be 10,000 good shows on. I just don't have time to watch them all.
Right.
I
My
really
thing is like
don't.
things like Documentary Now or stuff like that, where it's like I can watch an episode, or Black
Yeah.
Mirror. I can watch an episode, walk away, come back when I want to.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what's appealing to me.
That's
right
what's good about those anthology shows also
Yeah.
is that, especially Black Mirror, like yeah, fuck, I can watch an episode and shit. If I can't get back to it in a week or two,
It's
I'm
fine, yeah.
gold. I'm okay.
Well, I think that is a testament to how good The Boys really is.
Yeah, because I had to finish it.
Well, right. You find the time for something that inspires you, but the quality and bandwidth of quality programming is so dense now that we've become a lot more selective. And for it to
Yep.
punch through and go like, I gotta fucking sit. What happens next?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Which is a testament to Amazon. Because it's
Yeah.
I've never looked at Amazon as a serious streaming contender.
Yeah.
There are some shows on it, but not
The
like
only thing that I ever looked at for Amazon is like, dude, I want to revisit Deadwood or I want to revisit The Sopranos or something like that. Some of the older HBO shit. That's
Yeah.
the only thing I've ever really used it for. Or, oh, cool, look, they brought back at the time, oh, cool, Raiders of the Lost Ark is on fucking Amazon and nobody
Yeah.
else has it.
Right.
Haven't seen that in a while.
Jack Ryan wasn't bad, but nowhere on the order of magnitude of The Boys. The Boys is
Yeah,
I didn't even bother with that. I was like,
What I saw with The Boys, I mean, I think that's as good as anything that you'll watch on any streaming service.
Correct.
So
yeah.
it was really good.
and I'm like, I'm ready for season 2 tomorrow.
Yeah, me
Like,
too.
oh my.
yeah.
Like it's killing me having to wait to like get back to some new episodes. Like
I know.
I haven't been this excited about TV in it's such a long time. It's
I
like,
know.
It's exciting.
I love it.
you know?
Yeah, man. I mean, hey, I love it. I think it's
Yeah.
cool shit. So there we go.
Yeah. Thumbs up.
Yeah,
thumbs up.
Yeah, big
4,
thumbs
5,
up.
10 stars.
Are we boring you? I'm sorry.
Is there anything that we forgot to add? Is there anything that we want to anything that we want to highlight that maybe we missed?
one last thing. The fucking soundtrack to that
Yeah,
fucking
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
Jesus
Oh, yeah.
Christ. Every beginning, every ending would end, and I watched the entire credits, mainly because Amazon let me watch the credits.
Well,
but
that's
I
what pissed me off
watched the
because mine would
credits.
autoplay and it was like 3 seconds. You're on the next
Yeah.
one. I'm like,
I'm
I
on.
want to hear. Like,
Mine does that
too
with
fast.
Netflix. Yeah.
Mine does with Netflix, but with Amazon, I don't know why, but it let me watch all the credits, so I got to hear.
You might not have it
every
Nice.
song.
turned on. Or so, I don't know, but I was so mad. I'm like, oh, like let it.
Well, and what I thought was good is, a lot of people will probably kind of turn their nose at that kind of shit, but I mean, say, oh, the music was just so cliche. But, dude, the music was perfect. I mean, it was popular
Perfect.
songs.
It's only cliche if you force it in there.
Yeah,
but it wasn't.
dude, I mean,
like,
goddamn, Everybody Hurts with fucking, with the deep.
That set a new bar
Yeah.
for that song.
My favorite use of
Oh,
song
fucking
in that
Cherry
movie.
Bomb. I mean, come on.
Dude.
Jesus.
Cherry
fuck
Bomb's
that.
one of those songs that they bust out all the time, but I'm like,
Sure.
yeah, it works though.
yeah,
Like,
it does.
The best one for me is when Homelander went into Iran and burned everybody down, and they played "Rock the Casbah."
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
that
And
was
it wasn't
fucking great.
It wasn't the Clash.
It was
either.
a
right.
cover.
It was
Some
a
other.
cover.
It was
of
a cover.
yeah,
Really
that was great.
fucking great.
But
I
I think-
thought I heard that. I was like, "That's awesome."
The end credits for that shit, like even though nothing was happening, it's like you needed like a palate cleanse
did.
to be like, all right,
Right.
I need a breath before I dive into the next episode. So when it kept auto playing, I'd have to like back up and be like, no, like I need to go like get a drink or like something
Right.
because I just want to like sit in this episode for a second before moving on.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really good stuff, man. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I agree. I mean, I don't know. I'm not ready for season 2 just yet. I'm cool with letting this shit sink in, but
For a
it
little
really
bit.
is sad that you have to wait probably a year to get another.
Yeah, I
that's
could,
the thing,
I could
it's
do
like-
next month, man.
Yeah.
yeah.
I like.
yeah,
I
2 or
really
3
want to go
months,
home
I'd
and
be
just like
good.
start watching it again.
He doesn't have the preacher anymore, so maybe he's sitting on that ready to go.
Well, it's always the contracts. Like that's what holds everything up. It's like, is it signed? 'Cause
Yeah.
you can't start till it's signed. If they've already signed it, they can get
He
going.
may have gotten it.
They
He
may
have.
they may be in pre-production already.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's be honest. Where are these guys going? They're not the most
Now
famous.
they're going. I
Yeah.
mean, if everybody watches this show, they're going to be household
Yeah,
names.
but if you're already locked in, like,
Yeah, but I mean, but even
I don't
if,
see these guys becoming movie
No,
stars.
but you
like
know
they're
what?
good, but like,
the woman who played like the TV producer who did like the on location stuff.
yeah, huh?
She's from Glow.
yeah,
So I was like, oh, look at that.
Oh,
She,
okay.
yeah.
cross platform.
But it's still,
Yeah,
just
right.
saying,
they're
I
not
mean,
going to
it's,
film
it's,
Avengers.
I understand, but
Yeah.
look, let's look at for what it is. Look at Game of Thrones, which I mean, look, we're not going to get on that shit. But what I'm saying is, regardless of it, it is probably one of, if not the most successful television series in the history of TV.
Right.
Which motherfucker on that show has a big banging down fucking movie career?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Gwendolyn Christie in Star Wars, but you can't even see her face.
And look, right,
Yeah, right.
and fucking the girl, the only person that I've seen work really regularly is the lady that plays Daenerys.
Yeah, she's been in a few.
She's
things,
been in a few
but she's
things,
not great.
but none of
Sophie
that shit.
Turner did X-Men.
Yeah, but Lena-
that's kind of done.
To me, Lena Headey and your boy that played
But Lena Headey
Jamie?
had a career before it. Yeah.
same with Edward Stark.
Yeah.
Sean
Sean
Bean.
Bean, yeah.
Those were established people. I'm
Right.
talking about people who are like, hey, Game of Thrones. Look, I need a glass of Game of Thrones lemonade and drink the fucking shit. You don't see anybody like that that's
Yeah,
gotten
they've
to
not.
that level. Kit Harington, Jon Snow. He's done nothing.
Right.
Daenerys Stormborn. What she was in a
in
couple
Solo.
of. She was in a couple of rom-coms. She was in Solo. That bombed. She was in Terminator Genesis. That bombed. So I mean, that's
Maybe
She's not a great
The-
actor.
maybe they just have enough Game of Thrones money that they don't have to work.
Well, the
Oh,
guy
no, they want to work.
Well, Maisie Williams just got cast on a new TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
the
I don't
guy
know
that
what it
plays
is.
Jamie Lannister, Nikolai, blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
He's
Bibbidi-Boo.
apparently
Yeah.
he's in a movie called Domino that was directed by help me here, the Untouchables director
Brian De Palma.
Brian De Palma, and it apparently sucks.
Yeah.
Like,
Peter Dinklage
Hey.
had a career.
I mean, Peter
Yeah,
Dinklage.
Yeah, he did.
Dinklage had a career.
the Dink.
Yeah, and Dink continues to have a career. I mean,
Yeah.
and
He will
will.
always have a career,
So-
but he had a career before that too, didn't he?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about the established people. I mean, I'm talking about somebody who walked in and was like, this motherfucker on Game of Thrones needs to be in everything.
Well, I feel like
Yeah.
every time they try, it fails. Like, what's his face who played Iron Fist? It's like,
Yeah, good old what's his face.
Yeah, so I'm hoping Eternals. I'm hoping that dude works out because he's.
Yeah, Richard Madden. Well,
Yeah.
he was on The Bodyguard on Netflix,
which was
and that show was
the biggest hit
Fucking
of-
great.
in Britain ever,
Yeah.
apparently. So
Yeah, it's like James Bond light.
Right. But when you think
So-
of all the people who came through that, it's like not too many of them.
Nah, and that's the thing, you know. But I think what's also good about it as well is that TV now, man. There's some avant-garde shit out there, and
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with being a television star, especially the quality of shit that's out there now.
It's like movies.
It is. It
Yeah.
feels like
Yeah.
they're taking more risks with TV now.
Yeah, and they can because of where they are.
Yeah.
Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, they can do whatever they want.
Yep.
Yeah, like Game of
Yeah.
Thrones, like that was shot like
HBO.
movies. Like
Yeah,
It was.
getting 10 guaranteed dollars is way better than
Except the
than
last
is,
season.
You know. Yeah. Right.
right.
Getting 10 guaranteed dollars from somebody, basically saying, you know, well, hey, I might get your $10 if you go buy a roll of Charmin. You know, I mean,
Right,
yeah,
right.
you can do a lot more magical shit with direct money going into your coffers.
Right.
So, but that's all that shit. You know, at Amazon, I think what's good about Amazon is that they really have the potential to do a lot of cool shit because as a company, they've diversified themselves into different products. I mean, really, honestly, when people talk about Amazon.com and the benefits of it, hey, man, do you have Prime? Yeah, I got Prime. What do you have Prime for? Everybody. I like having free 2-day shipping.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
every fucking body that has it that I talk to. But Alexa, that's a big thing. That's a huge thing. It's a separate product. You know, I mean, well, I understand, you know, people still use a lot. Fuck, I use it. I don't give a fuck. Oh, they're listening to you. What, you want to listen to me fuck my old lady? Okay, cool. No problem. Ain't nothing
What
to it.
happened last time then?
Right, there it is. Hey, look, you know, they
yeah.
were listening, and they sent me free 2-day shipping on a little fucking unit. I mean, there it is. You know?
I thought you were gonna name your baby Alexa. That would have been
That would have been it. Hey, I could have
free shit.
Free shit, absolutely. I mean, they sent it to me because they listened to me fucking over the device. But
2-day shipping, you got a kid.
look, all that bullshit aside, look,
All that bullshit.
I hope it gives Amazon some swagger to like continue doing stuff like this.
Right.
What
Hell
was
yeah.
Good Omens? Was that Amazon?
I-
Omens
I
was
didn't like it.
Amazon, and
Enjoyable.
it was enjoyable.
But was that Amazon?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
There was
I-
Sneaky Pete.
I haven't watched it yet.
That's first season's okay.
yeah.
Hannah.
I watched the first
Solid.
I watched the first episode of Good Omens, and I found it very boring.
It's not your bag, yeah.
Yeah, not my bag. I didn't really
I never
like it.
tried it.
Witty, clever English humor.
Nothing touches The Boys.
No,
That's all.
yeah, nothing by a long shot.
Oh, God.
That was on your
Yeah, whatever. Go
your,
ahead.
your
You
report.
want to wrap that show up there?
Well, there it is. So,
20 feet from schools.
all right. Well, look, nothing beats getting the fuck out of here, too. So, hey, look, we appreciate you guys listening. Gary, you got anything to plug?
I'm actually on a little bit of a break right now.
Cool, dude.
This is my 1 week of vacation.
You're in
But
between shows.
We're in between shows. We had a great summer. Thanks for everyone. I apologize for ever bad mouthing Mamma Mia. It was probably the most fun I've ever had.
Cool.
What?
I can't believe I'm saying it. I had so much fun
That's
doing
great.
that show.
Are you guys going to ever do Cats on stage?
I'm dying to do Cats. Don't
Yeah.
get me started about that shit.
If you do Cats, though, you have to do like that fucking.
If you're on my Instagram,
psychotic
you will
trailer.
see all of my Cats posts that I've made. But we're doing
okay.
in September. We open our season with 9 to 5,
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
the musical.
Who's going to play Dolly Parton?
You don't know her.
Oh, I don't know her. Do I know Lily Tomley?
I'm going to keep you away from her. What is that?
I don't know. Oh, it's the end.
It's engineering
God, he's
flaws.
good.
So that's it.
Shaves his beard.
The
And
show's
shit.
too damn long.
So anyway,
Yeah.
9 to 5, the
There you go.
musical. Dolly Parton wrote all the music.
Yep.
It's really
Mhm.
good. Special appearance by Dolly Parton on video.
Oh, excellent.
It's crazy. I don't know. It's going to be fun.
So after 9 to 5,
Can't
what do you
wait.
have coming after that?
A political comedy called November, which is the funniest play I've ever seen.
Cool.
Holy shit. Okay.
Funnier than One Man, Two Governors?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's David Mamet. It's his play about the president.
Okay.
Wow.
It's unbelievable and like perfectly fitting considering our political climate. Even though that's not why we're doing it. But
Cool.
we have some original stuff, and
Well, that's
Original
good, man.
stuff.
and we just got the rights for Cinderella for next summer for the families.
cool.
So,
Whoa.
yeah.
Well, to find out more about these plays and to buy tickets, you can go over to rivertowntheaters.com. You can use that with an RE or an ER. They got both of them.
Oh, and a special shout out to the city of Kenner. They just renewed our contract for like 3 more years. Or
Oh,
something.
beautiful, man. That's great.
So, thank
news.
you to them. I'm sure they all listen.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you to them.
Yeah, thank you to
I'm gonna
whoever
tag
you
'em.
are. So there it is. Yeah, tag them in there. Kenner government. Listen to that piss and vinegar, motherfucker. So that's it. All right, look, we appreciate you guys listening. Join the PPV Guys group. Also, jump over to iTunes. Please subscribe to our show and our brothers and sister podcast, Scary Thoughts and Not Real Radio. Thanks for listening. And see you.